Good evening, folks. 3 first period goals were enough for the Vancouver Canucks to hang on to a 4-2 win over the Calgary Flames at the Abbotsford Centre on Monday night. We're going to recap the game. And while you're here, I've got a podcast live at 10 p.m. with Canuck Clay over on the Canucks After Dark channel. It's linked to the top of the description. So after you're done with this video, hop over there, come hang out with us for an hour, or listen to it on your favorite podcast platform in the morning. Goaltending matchup: Mikey DiPietro, who played all 60 minutes against Adam Werner, and Dan Vladar in the in between the Flames pipes, splitting the job there in the first period. Man, the first shift for Podkolzin, Miller, and Garland looked really good. Podkolzin had an early chance, unable to capitalize. Canucks go to the power play. Just 2 minutes in, Dowling ends up taking a high stick from Glenn Godden, and the Arizona Coyotes connection gets things going. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, little feed over to Conor Garland, nifty little toe drag to the inside. His first shot gets blocked. Everyone's looking for the puck. He smacks it, gets 5-hole between the Flames goaltender's legs to make it 1-0 early. 8 minutes to go in the first period, and Chase Wooters gets on the board. Gadjevich and Wooters come in on a little 2-on-1. Gadjevich, a little toe drag around the last man, feeds Wooters in the slot, fires it past Werner. It's 2-0 Canucks, but they weren't done there in the first period. 4.5 to go. Canucks bring out some absolute pressure. JT Miller, shot from the left faceoff dot, gets stopped. Horvat smacks at the rebound. Chiasson goes for it. Puck ends up coming back to JT Miller. He bangs it home on the backhand on the power play, making the Canucks up 3-0. We go to the second period. Flames go to a power play with about 11 minutes into the second period. Horvat gets called for a kind of an iffy cross-check. Someone cross-checked a guy. Horvat went in and cross-checked him. Just a chain of cross-checks. They took the last man. OEL then takes another cross-checking penalty, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So the Flames go to a 5-on-3 for 24 seconds, which they do capitalize on. Dylan Dubé sneaks a shot through Mikey DiPietro with about 7:12 to go in the second period. And then with 41 seconds to go in the second, Connor Mackey added another one. So the Canucks lead was down to just one going into the third period, and it was looking like it might be a repeat of last night's game where the Kraken were able to battle back from a deficit to take that game. We go to the third period, a pretty slow third period, not much to talk about until 6.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Oliver Ekman-Larsson enters the zone, the left wing, sort of a 3-on-2, cuts to the inside, leaves a little drop pass for Pearson as they cross. It sort of drags the defenders out of the way, gives Pearson some space, and he just walks in and absolutely rips one over the shoulder of Vladar to make it 4-2. And then the Flames go out, they pull their goalie with 3.5 minutes to go, and they basically score with 2 minutes left, but the net was knocked off at the same time by Kirkland, who drove to the net, so it didn't count. Matthew Highmore then tries to curl it in from center ice, hits the post, goes for icing. And then DiPietro forced to make a couple of outstanding saves in these last couple of sequences. But then the Calgary Flames take a timeout in a preseason game with 24 seconds left, down by 2 goals. That should be a war crime. It's a preseason game in an arena that's, in Abbotsford. Like there's no point, right? Why are you pulling the goalie for 3.5 minutes? No one scores, taking a timeout with 24 seconds left when everyone just wants to go home at this point. No one scores. But what was interesting is how often do you see an empty net for 3.5 minutes with no one on either side scoring? It was pretty wild. Let's get into our pluses and minuses for the game. And folks, it's mostly pluses in this one. I was actually really impressed. I wasn't obviously watching for a win. I was more so watching at specific players, trying to see who's battling for spots on the team, who's going to make the team. So let's go through these pluses really quick. The first one, the Garland, Miller, Podkolzin line looked better than they did at scrimmage on Saturday. They were kind of non-existent on Saturday. At least in the first period tonight, they really stood out. A little bit shakier in the second and third. I think in the third, they did have a couple chances as well. But the first period was excellent for that line. My next plus, the Arizona boys. The Arizona boys got on the score sheet. Garland scoring a goal from Ekman-Larsson. Ekman-Larsson having 2 assists in this one. He looked pretty decent. And speaking of Arizona boys, Louis Eriksson in Arizona scores a beauty for the Coyotes with a heady wrist shot, a shot that we did not get to see out of him for the last 5 years. I don't know where that has been, but he scored a beauty for them. Olli Juolevi, I thought, played a lot better tonight than he did last night, but I think Rathbone still has the edge in that battle. Definitely an uphill battle for Olli Juolevi. I thought Tucker Poolman seemed pretty decent as well, kind of as advertised, not very flashy, just sort of out there and not making any mistakes. Chiasson, I thought played really well with Pearson and Horvat. And this kind of brings another wrinkle in the lineup. If they want to sign Chiasson from this PTO, maybe keep him with Tanner Pearson, Bo Horvat, and maybe you have this really solid third line, maybe behind PD Besser and Höglander, Garland, Miller, and Podkolzin is sort of your second and third, and they would switch up with the Pearson, Horvat, Chiasson line. It could work, and then that leaves something like a Mott, Sutter, and Dickinson fourth line, which is really strong down at the bottom of the lineup. I'm just speculating. We're going to talk more about this on Canucks After Dark as well. William Lockwood was throwing the body around just like last night and in the scrimmage, which was excellent. And Mikey DiPietro was on absolute fire tonight. Did let in the 2 goals in the second period, but he made the saves when he had to. And it was a really solid performance from Michael DiPietro. The only minus in this game was I wanted some more goals. The Canucks, looked like they could have scored some more, but I don't have a lot of minuses here. I thought the Canucks played pretty well, and I liked a lot of what I saw. We always give a game puck or game pucks out. We're just going to give one out tonight. Before I do that, leave a comment on who you give your game puck to, which is your player of the game. Mine is going to go to Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I thought he was really solid. He looked like a better skater than I anticipated out there. He looked better than a better skater than Alex Edler was, which isn't a high bar, but still good. He seemed smart. He was making good plays. He didn't get caught out really. Again, it's one preseason game. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not say, all right, Ekman-Larsson's going to be a stud for this team. There's still a history of him not playing well in Arizona, so let's reserve that for a little bit, but I thought he played really well tonight. That's all for this video. I got to wrap it up. I got to jump over to Canucks After Dark. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, join the Discord, follow me on Twitter. Everything is linked down below, and I will see you in the next one.